Hello folks, Northern Exile here, and I'm here to do some hobby nightmares. I was going to do a chapter video today, but all my stuff's at my grandpa's place, so I'm going to get all that over here tomorrow. I'm going to go over some custom Space Marine chapters, probably over the weekend, and I might move that video over to the weekend, so you got a guaranteed spot where it's going to be each week. That'd be cool, wouldn't it? Also, I'm also sorting out somebody's chapter that I really want to be on that video, so that'll be on pretty soon. But today is Hobby Nightmares time. If you like what I do, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It's down below in the description. Just go down there and click all the things and have some fun, alright? Cool. Another long episode is in the offing, as we have a man by the name of Gnome. And he says, "Hello North, please call me Gnome." Well, I have done. "I'm writing to tell you the tale of how Warhammer saved my life, and the hobby nightmare that then followed." That's normally the other way around, don't we? We normally get the hobby nightmare, and then it ends well. But, okay. "It was a Friday, and Bob, the owner/manager of my friendly local game store, called to let me know the Necrons I special ordered were in. I could come pick them up or get them on Saturday with the pre-order I had coming out that day. I told him I'd get it on Saturday, as I was planning to head straight to D&D after work." Take a sip of tea. Well, I don't need to, just started the video, but there we go. "Well, as I was working, I changed my mind, and figured I'd pick up the Necrons on the way to D&D, and then build them after it, so on Saturday, I could jump right into the pre-order. I stopped by the store and chatted with Bob for a few minutes about the upcoming Kill Team campaign before I left. I was walking back to my car when I started to hear a loud buzzing in my left ear, like I was standing close to a power transformer, and the world started to wobble. That was when I decided it was probably best to head back inside. As I started to make my way to the door, I felt what could best be described as somebody pulling their hand on my left shoulder and pulling me back and pushing me down. The next thing I knew, I was lying on the asphalt of the parking lot and panicking. I took out my phone to try and get help, but my fingers were useless and wouldn't do what I wanted. Voice commands were also useless with how slurred my speech was. If I was wanting help, I had to get back inside." Dude, were you having a stroke? Oh no. Oh my god, that must be terrifying, dude. That must be terrifying. "I started to crawl on my hands and knees across what felt like 100 miles of asphalt, only looking up every few feet to make sure I was headed in the right direction, as looking at anything that was the ground had me feeling like a sock looking out the dishwasher drawer. Sorry, the washer door. I eventually made it to the back door of the store, and I beat on it like it owed me money, and rent was due tomorrow. Bob came and saw what was going on, and called me an ambulance." Take a sip of tea. "I'm sure you and others have figured out by now that I'd had a stroke." Oh no, dude. That's terrifying, man. That's terrifying. Because you never know. You never know what you're going to be left with. That's what I'd be thinking. God forbid, touch wood, I never have a stroke, because that you'd be thinking, oh my god, am I going to be a vegetable? Like, this my life now? You know what I mean? Oh my days. And my granddad had lots of mini strokes. Oh dear. No, no, no. "Thankfully, it was a very minor one. Good. If I didn't stop to pick up my models, I would have been in a freeway going 70 plus miles an hour to 110 kilometers an hour for uncivilized folks. It would have been a lot worse, and that's why I say Warhammer saved my life." Wow. Literally saved your life. "Due to it, though, I had to take some time off work, which was fine. I had a pile of shame to work on, and the Kill Team campaign to keep me occupied. That's where the hobby nightmare begins. It was a few days after the event, and I had a game with Dave." Dave's back again. "I was very excited to play Dave, who is a very active member of the gaming community, and I saw him always looking for games in our local Facebook group, and if the game went as I was hoping to have... if the game went well, I was hoping to have more games with him. When I met him, I shook his hand and wished him a good game. I also apologised in advance, and told him I recently had a stroke and my brain felt fuzzier than a mouldy peach, and my turns might take a bit longer than normal because I'll have to reference the rules quite a few times. He said that's no problem, and we got on with our game. Dude, more than saying no problem, I hope he said, oh, really, dude, I'm really sorry about that. Anything you need? Like, you know, do you need a... Are you okay? You know? Should you be playing Warhammer right now? Just to say, the fact that he's just gone, that's no problem, and started doing his models, that's a warning sign right there. That's no empathy right there. The first few times I had to look stuff up, he said I was reading the rules wrong, and I believed him because I had mouldy peach brains. From there on in, it only got worse. He fussed over everything. Movement, line of sight, if the dice even landed near something on the table, it was a cocked die and needed to be re-rolled, but that only seemed to happen with my rolls that succeeded. His crown achievement, though, was when my Necron warriors had line of sight on his Space Marine captain, so I decided to shoot at him, only to be told my warriors actually actually didn't have line of sight, because that part of the model I could see was a kit bash and not actually part of the model. Dude. Really? You decided to put that on... Dude, that's not true. That's bullshit. That is bullshit. No, mate. That's not how it works. If you add things to your model, that's your model. And if I can see your model, I'm shooting at it. Alright? You decided to put that shit on your model. That's bollocks. That is the height of bollocks. He won the game and we parted ways with a bitter taste left in my mouth over it. A few days after the game, I was talking to Mike, an employee at the store, and he asked about the game with Dave. I told him how it went, and that if I ever matched up with him again, I'll probably just forfeit the match, because he sucks the fun out of playing. Mike told me he also refuses to play Dave, because he hasn't heard much good about him, and he has the store reputation of being that guy. Dude, he's definitely that guy, because he took your illness and went, yeah, whatever, and then just proceeded to be an arsehole the rest of the game. A few weeks went by, and I played more matches and had a lot of fun, but I noticed that on the match listings, Dave wasn't on it anymore. So, one time, when I was in the store, I asked what had happened to Dave. Did he drop out of the campaign? Mag told me no, Dave was actually banned from the store. He went to tell me how Dave talked to Bob and joked that our match was really easy, and he would like a harder opponent next match, and preferably one without brain damage. What? I'm very rarely left speechless. I am very rarely left... Alright, I'm going to say this, guys. I'm going to say this right now. I know we've had longer hobby nightmares with more extravagant tales, but I think, low-key, this is the worst guy we've ever read about. And low-key, you know, in terms of, like, non-heinous things, we've had people like, we've had attempted murder, we've had weirdos who go after kids, right? We've had all those, so, apart from all those things that are beyond the pale, right, of actual just arsehole behaviour, this guy's low-key the worst. Honestly. Like, we've had, of all the cheaters that we've had, of all the man-babies that we've had, this guy's callous. This guy's just evil. This isn't nice. This is a really despicable person. Who says that? Who says that unprovoked? I want a better opponent next time who's a bit more of a challenge. Preferably one without brain damage, thank you. When you told him you had a stroke, that's what went on in my head. I was like, well, maybe he doesn't know you had a stroke. No, you told him. You told him. Mike told me how years later Bob's mother actually had a stroke as well, and that this joke really pissed off Bob. So I guess that's why he got banned. Cheers, Gnome. Jesus, dude. Jesus. Dude, I'd have banned him either way. I'd have banned him even if somebody in my family hadn't had a stroke. I'd have banned him. Like, go fuck yourself, dude. Get out. Get out. Get out. You are a fucking fun vacuum. That's what you are. You suck the fun out of every room you go into. I wanted you out of here for a while. You're a piece of shit. Leave. Go away. Go away. Thank you. Enough of that. Gentleman Commissar says, Greetings, North. Please call me Gentleman Commissar. I am a fellow YouTuber, albeit nowhere near as successful, and mainly stick to conversions and conversions and build videos. My proudest work to date has been my swipe action sound effects Rabute Gilliman video attached. I've got to see this. I've got to see this. What is going on here? I've got to see this. Let's have a little look here. Is it on here? Yeah, it is. Oh, mate. I've got to see it. That's amazing. That's amazing. I know he doesn't swipe very far, but that's amazing. Come on. Really, really well painted. That's awesome, dude. That's awesome. Well done to you. Well done to you. That's brilliant. That really made my day. Alright. I discovered your videos about a year ago and frequently play them whilst painting, as the soothing music helps me to slip into the meditative zen-like state. The advice and stories of fellow hobbyists is a much-needed comfort to let us broken souls know that we are not alone. Honestly, you're doing the Lord's and God Emperor's work. Thank you very much, man. Cheers. On to the hobby nightmare. I have been into the hobby ever since the Lord of the Rings tabletop wargame, after seeing an advertisement on television for the accompanying magazine. Plucking up the courage to finally venture into a Games Workshop store, I was wide-eyed with amazement at all the cool miniatures on display, and very confused at the strange lettered pricing system. I remember that! I remember that! Yeah! I can't believe I forgot that! Yeah, it's like A1 was like, you know, it's so expensive. You've got to go... See, basically, back in the day in the UK, you'd walk into a Games Workshop, and every item would have, like, a 1B, or, you know, and different coloured stickers on them, you know? You had to go to a chart and look up what price it was, and then buy it. It's mental. It was mental. Oh, God, that brought back so many memories. You know when something just jogs you? You completely forgot it, but that jogs you, and now other memories have come back with it, you know? Wow. Before long, I was delving into 40k, with the Lord of the Rings acting like a gateway drug to get me hooked on harder, more grim, dark stuff. Years later, I would get into Age of Sigmar, after many of my friends at the time played it. I elected to start a Sylvaneth army. Their elvish tree aesthetic was just about the coolest looking thing I'd ever seen, and the idea of stomping around the battlefield as an Ent-like tree lord was enough to get me to buy a start collecting box and a few kits of Kurnoth hunters. I would frequently participate in Path to Glory campaigns in my local store, and whilst I lost a lot of games, I enjoyed every moment of it. Often I would hear tales of that guy, you know, the guy who would fudge rules and dice rolls to win at all costs. Fortunately, I managed to avoid that guy for the longest time. This was either down to dumb luck, or a well-cultivated community of players orchestrated by the local store manager. Roll on a few years, and my Polish girlfriend and I decided to move to Poland so she could be closer to her family. Nothing serious was going on in my life, so I decided, screw it, let's go to Poland for the next adventure. Now, my Polish isn't great, and I didn't really know anyone outside of work or my girlfriend's family. Luckily, there was an independent hobby store in the town centre where I was able to meet people and hang out and playing Warhammer. I was able to make some great friends from playing games of Age of Sigmar in said hobby store, many of which I still hang out with to this day, when our schedules and the stars align, that is. I remember each one of them, on separate occasions, warning me about that guy, who would frequent the store. For the purposes of this tale, let's call him Steve, just to give Dave a break for now. I know, yeah, we've had a lot of Daves this week. Steve was a combination of multiple hobbyist archetypes. About 25 stone in weight, oh my god. 25 stone's about £400 if you are American. Foul odour, neck beard, always hanging over other players' shoulders, spouting out his advice, quote-unquote. Suffice to say, he was the resident player you would want to avoid, and so I did. Until recently. The owner of the store and I became pretty good friends, with him and others using me as a great excuse to practice their English. One day, when purchasing some models for my Custodes army, the owner took me to one side to ask me a favour. For the longest time, the owner, let's call him Bart, had been trying to get the community involved in playing more Age of Sigmar and 40k games in the store, holding gaming workshops, painting sessions, and trying to start a few tournaments. However, the gaming sessions were not taking off as he had hoped. That was in large part due to Steve. As the most seasoned player in the area, he would be leading the gaming workshops. Instead of teaching people how to play, he was instead using the workshop sessions to rack up easy wins against newbies. I had no idea to what extent this was happening, but apparently enough to discourage players from returning. Alright, I'm going to say something controversial here. This is Bart's fault. As Bart is the hobby store manager, it is his responsibility to curate the games that are going on in his store, especially any long-standing groups that are in his store. If you know you have that guy, a Steve, right? If you know you have a Steve, you keep him as far away from that group as possible, right? Let me take a quick sip of tea right here. One sec. There we go. Yeah, you want to keep him as far away from that as possible. Absolutely. Don't want him anywhere near your newbies. Why? Because if he's in charge of that thing, he's going to actually drive people away, as you've just said he is here. You don't even want him playing in that group, let alone leading the bloody thing. You don't want him anywhere near it. If you have to ban him, and say, no, mate, your playstyle isn't suited for beginners. If you want to word it like that, then word it like that. Say, mate, you're too advanced. You're too advanced for beginners. I can't have you in there leading beginners. You know, and somebody who's as narcissistic as this guy sounds would go, oh, okay. And then he'd use that to brag to his friends. Oh, I couldn't even go in the beginners bracket because I'm too good. You know what I mean? But at least he's out of your hair. He's out of your hair, and he's not whinging and complaining, and it's fine, right? That's what you want. But to allow a Steve to be, shall we say, ruining the starting experiences of so many hobbyists, that's a cardinal sin, Bart. Don't be doing that. Steve is what he is, alright? Yeah, he's an arsehole. He is what he is. Okay? Don't enable him. You've got the platform to enable him, and you've done that. Hopefully you learn from his mistake. Bart had a very special mission for me. He knew that I had many years of experience from playing war games, and so he asked me to play against Steve and take him to the proverbial woodshed. In other words, beat him in a game so bad that he learnt the errors of his wicked ways. I had my doubts, but reluctantly decided to accept the mission, my reasoning being that it would help the community and could potentially create more players in my area if I removed this rancid rotund roadblock named Steve. I don't get how beating him is going to make him any better. You know? Maybe what you mean here is that you're going to call him out on his bullshit when he's playing. Maybe. I don't know. So I went about putting together the cheesiest, strongest 1,000 point army that I could. In the end, I went with my Idanet Deepkin Sea Elves, hoping that they would wash away his foul smell for good. The army was focused around my hard-hitting unit of sharks, with fast movement, flight, 24-inch shooting, and one heck of a powerful bite. Steve brought along his Stormcast Eternals. Upon meeting Steve, he told me that Bart had had a word with him, informing him that he should go easy on new players. For all he knew, I was not a seasoned wargamer, and this was actually an introductory game. This will be important soon. Now the trap was set, all that was left was to wipe the floor with him. Okay. As much as this is childish and not very nice, I'm not a very adult way of settling this. I am intrigued to know where it's going to go, so let's carry on. As I finished setting up first, I had the choice of who would take the first turn. I decided to let Steve go first, so I could see how he played and what tactics he would use against a newbie, quote-unquote. Long story short, too late, I guess, he dropped a unit of Annihilators into my front line in an attempt to table my army turn 1. Through some lucky dice rolls, I was able to absorb the brunt of his initial attack and counter his Annihilators with my Achelian King, who is something of a beast stick. Without going into an entire play-by-play, I will sum up the battle as best I can. His list was very meta-inspired, using vicious combos and tactics that would otherwise catch a new player off guard. I could see why players were not returning. Steve tried adding an extra round of scoring that benefited him and him alone. It was at this stage that I decided to channel my inner Ric Flair. To paraphrase, to beat the guy, you gotta be that guy. Ah, that's not the phrase. That's not the phrase. The phrase is to be the man, you've got to beat the man. That's the phrase. Anyway, I started using tactics and tricks I had heard from tales of that guy that had regaled me over the years, using sleight of hand and palming dice to shift the balance in my favour. This made me feel like shit, cheating to get the upper hand. I just kept telling myself, it's for the good of the store, carry on. Okay. I was able to sweep through most of his forces, letting my unit of sharks do most of the heavy lifting. So much so that by turn 3, Steve decided that he had had enough and that we should call it a day, handing me the victory. His face was that of pure shock, and he looked utterly dejected. My mission was complete. However, I would not know if I was successful until our next encounter. 2 weeks later, I showed up at the scheduled gaming workshop to face another player who had brought his Mega Gargants, and I, my Tree Elves. We were about to begin, when who should walk in but Steve. As it was just the 3 of us, I suggested that we have a 3-way Battle Royale narrative game, with Steve Stormcast in the middle of the board, defending his castle and 2 armies of monsters invading from either side. Attack on Titan inspired. The Mega Gargant player was very enthusiastic about this idea, giving me a look as if to say, let's gang up on him first, then go at each other once all the little storm dudes are dead. I had the feeling that he had already encountered Steve and his antics, and this was his way of getting back at him. Oh no, my god, you did... Oh, Jesus. Oh no. The game was incredibly fun. Not for Steve, I'm thinking. The narrative aspect being one thing, and the fact that Steve whiffed almost every dice roll imaginable just being that little cherry on top. Steve did try fudging some rules here and there, but by now he knew that I was not as new to the game as he had initially suspected. After calmly setting him straight on the rules, and him desperately poring through his general's handbook to find proof, we were able to continue the game relatively problem-free. In the end, the game was incredibly fun, ending with a Monster Mash Kaiju battle that saw me eking out wins thanks to the Sylvaneth's impressive healing abilities. The feeling I had from playing this game did a lot to soothe my soul, as the previous game of cheating to beat the cheater had left a really sour taste in my mouth, and a foul, lingering stench in my nostrils. I hope that these games went in some way to setting Steve straight, so that we could all foster a better gaming community. Sorry for such a long story, but thanks for all the same for reading it out loud. If indeed you did read it out, keep up the great work. I look forward to joining the Discord and chatting with all the other hobbyists soon. If you wish to check out my YouTube channel, you can find it here. Yeah, I'll put it in the description, man. I'll put it in the description for you. Alright. Yancey says, how goes it, Mr. Affirming Northern Worthwhile? Hi man, how's it going? I wrote in a Hobby Nightmare submission into you about a year back about a toxic woman. Writing it got me so worked up while recounting the story that I forgot to include the most important part. The part of how the hobby got me out of it. Now years have passed, I find the story too entertaining not to share. However, like most nightmares, it was much more depressing when it was actually occurring. This is my job at remedying the story to be a bit more cohesive and hobby-centric. Thanks for your patience, and a knucklehead like me who failed English class and barely manages to speak good old American. It's actually English, but that's fine. I never get tired of triggering Americans with that. You know you're speaking English, right? You're not speaking... Okay, just checking. We won a war that kicked you out. Okay, yeah. What language are you speaking right now? Yeah. Very independent. Moving on. This tale of woe occurred about a decade ago in LA, although it didn't start out so woefully. To set the scene, I was in my early 20s, working 2 part-time jobs. One job was at a retail sporting goods store, the other was at a game store. I was pretty happy with life, having one profession paying the bills and the other supplying the Warhammer. It's hard to beat that at that age. I remember every week I would work about 20 hours. That's long. Okay, that's not that bad a week of my normal job, while impatiently waiting to clock out so that what I considered my actual life could begin. As soon as I punched that time card, I was working my other job, where I would sell, paint and play Warhammer, or just be on my personal time, where I would play, paint and build Warhammer. It was awesome. Almost perfect. Except for one thing. The fact that I, like too many others, had been a horny 20-year-old at the time. At this time, dating was a real struggle for me. Going out with women was new. I did not have much experience back then, and had only been on a few dates. I had not yet fully built up my self-esteem, which made me some real prime real estate for women like Camilla. To describe Camilla, think of a beautiful, fit young Latina. That is her body. As for her face, it looked like it had been mashed in with a tire iron. Jesus Christ. However, when you're in your early 20s, you think, oh no. I'm going to read it out so you can get slated in the comments for it. You think, I'll just put a bag on her or get her drunk. No, I'll just put a bag on her or get drunk. It'll be fine. Okay. I thought you said, or I'll get her drunk. You didn't. I'll just put a bag on her head or get drunk. It'll be fine. Okay. In England, we call it a butterface. You know? If you can work out what I mean by that, good for you. She's a bit of a butterface, you know what I mean? A bit of a butterface. I met Camilla whilst working at the sporting goods store. We shared many hobbies, excluding Warhammer, which I didn't have the balls to share with her. Due to all the common ground, I thought it seemed like a perfect fit, although in hindsight, I definitely dusted all the negatives under the rug. Since we naturally hit it off well, I worked up the courage to ask her out. And she said yes, and for the next few months, I dated Camilla. Okay. Playing Warhammer began to take a back seat. It always does, man. It always does. Even to the best of us. When your first woman comes along, unfortunately, it takes a back seat. Because not only do they not want to deal with it, but on the flip side of that, we don't have the confidence as men at that stage to actually make it cool to them. Do you know what I mean? The amount of hotties that, not even hottie, you know what I mean? But the amount of nice women that I've been with, right? Where they've been okay with Warhammer. Why? Because I'm not ashamed of it. I'm just not ashamed of it. I couldn't give a shit whether you like my hobby or not. I couldn't give a fuck. It's my hobby. And you're not ruining it for me. Okay? And because I like it so much, to them, it's not some seedy thing that nerds do. It's some nice thing that my boyfriend does. Right? That's what you gotta do. The minute you apologise for anything in terms of your hobbies, that's the minute it becomes weird and something you shouldn't be doing. Okay? Never apologise for playing video games to de-stress. Never apologise for being into Warhammer to de-stress because you like it, right? If she doesn't like it, she can go fuck herself, literally, right? You can just close the penis store. Okay, that's good. I'm good, thank you. Right? Yeah, I don't need you. I've got my hand. My hands also do Warhammer, so, I'm fine, thank you very much. Off you go. Off you trot, right? Normally, guys, if you are a nerd and you're not that good with women, and you know a Warhammer fan nearby who's got options with women, do you know what I mean? Who's been with multiple women, ask them what they do about their hobby, and they will tell you. I'm just not ashamed of it. I don't give a shit if they like it or not. I love it. And dude, if she likes you, she's going on a date with you because she likes you. If she likes you, Warhammer is not going to be a deal breaker. If you present it as, The only time it's a deal breaker is when somebody goes, "Yeah, I'm kind of into this thing. It's Warhammer. I'm really sorry. I know, it's childish, but you know, I just love it. I just can't help myself. But it is really childish. I'm really sorry. You know, no, don't say it like that. And go, yeah, me. Oh yeah, I'm into Warhammer. I love it. It's absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Got loads of mates who play it. We all get together, roll some dice. You know, have a few beers. It's great. You know, real good de-stressor. It's cool. And painting's really zen for me too. Helps with my mental health, you know what I mean? Yeah, I love it. I love it. That's it. Unapologetic. What you gonna do? Oh, well, I don't agree that you should be into Warhammer. Right, really? Let me order you a fucking taxi then. See ya, bitch. Let me order you a fucking taxi. Off you go. Off you trot. Next, please. Alright? If you don't like it, sling your hook. Get in the sea. Go away. That's all you do. And I'm telling you now, no woman's ever said that to me. When I've said to them, I like Warhammer, and I've told them why. I said, no, it's just great. I love it, you know. And I'll give them some reasons why. That's it. They never, if they don't like Warhammer, they just don't mention it again. They're like, oh, that's cool that you got your own thing. That's fine, you know. Every now and again, they'd come into Games Workshop and meet me there, especially if I was working, you know, and it'd be fine. And the girl that I was dating when I was working long term, when I was working in Games Workshop, was you know, she was mental, but she was a stone cold hottie. Stone cold hottie. Half Filipino, half Irish. You know? But she came into the Games Workshop, she ended up painting Mortarion in my Games Workshop. Right? Like, literally. She was not into Warhammer at all. Not her thing. But I just told her that I worked there, that I loved it, and it was great, and it was fun, and I got to de-stress all day, and I was super zen about it. And she went along with it. She was like, oh, okay, that's cool. I always thought it was for nerds. And I went, yeah, it is. But I am a fucking nerd. And you just own it. Just own it, man. And there's no way. There is no way that they don't get into it. Not that they don't get into it, but that they judge you for it. They just don't. Just own it and be strong in your beliefs. And be strong in being a man. And tell her what you like. And tell her to fuck off if she doesn't like it. Anyway. Playing Warhammer began to take a back seat. All my free time slowly became dedicated to this chick. My gaming buddies began to take note. They said how much they missed having me around, and said I should at least try to make it out and game once in a while. I decided to take them up on the offer, and I began to game again, and life felt perfect, but only for a little while. All my joy began to dissipate. Camilla started becoming paranoid that I was seeing other women, and wondering where I was when I wasn't with her or at work. Too stupid to realise how toxic this behaviour was, I kissed ass. I decided to open up about wargaming as my hobby to explain what I was doing. In response to this confession, Camilla was disgusted. She mocked me for playing with toys and still thought that I was seeing other women and using this as a cover-up. Okay, at this point, mate, you just take her with you and say, look, come on, look at it. Listen. My hobby's really important to me. It's a really big de-stressor, and I've made a lot of friends doing it. You know, it's really healthy for me, and it's really healthy for anyone to be into. So come along with me and have a little look, and maybe you won't judge it. But I'm going to tell you now, if you carry on judging it, this relationship will end. Because I need that more than I need you right now. Sorry. You know, I really like you, right? But I can get women anywhere. Like, there's only one Warhammer hobby, right? There's only one hobby where all my friends are. I can get women anywhere. See all these clubs down here? Yeah, I can get women there. Those are women dispensaries. That's where I go. Right? I go in and I put my money in the slot behind the bar to get drinks, and I get women. That's where I go, right? I don't need you. I need my hobby. Don't be that violent about it in language, but, you know, just say, look, it's really important to me. It's really, really important to me, and I want you to be involved in my life. If you don't want that, then you know where the door is, right? She will go along with you every single time, dude. Do you know why? Because, number one, she's fighting for you because she likes you. Okay? She's fighting for you because she's paranoid that you're seeing other women because she likes you. Okay? That's what she's doing right now. So if you give her that, don't give her that, it's kind of an ultimatum, but if you do it honestly and you say, look, here's where I am, and if you don't like it, then you know where to go. I'm not going to force you to be around somebody who's making you unhappy because he's into Warhammer. My hobbies and my joy shouldn't bring you misery, right? And if it does, we should renegotiate where this relationship is. You know? As soon as you show that strength of character, as soon as you show that you're not being bullshitted or pushed around, and you're not being manipulated, dude, women like this become fucking pussycats. Straight away. Straight away. Like, oh, okay, well, I guess it's not too bad. Yeah, I'll come along. You know, I'll just... Almost instantaneously, most of them will end up going, oh, okay. You know, just... That's fine. You know? Just don't take it. I mean, you were 20, so, you know, I've got to cut you some slack. Naively, I did my best to ignore the negatives instead of confronting them. I continued to date her and cut out Warhammer and friends completely. No matter how much of my life I sacrificed, she wouldn't appreciate it, and she would just demand I give more. Yeah, because you're giving in. You're giving in. Yeah, and don't have a go at her, by the way. She's just being female, dude. That's it. Yeah, you know, when you find a woman who doesn't do this, you've hit the fucking jackpot. When I found one, I literally slapped a ring on it and was like, right, that'll do me. Thank you very much. Right? Literally. It's a woman that I've known for many, many, many years. And we've been friends for many, many, many years. And very recently we got romantically entangled. And it started going well. And then she just turned out to be a diamond who just wanted me to be happy. And I went, you know what? Fuck that shit. This is my woman. This is it. This is it. Okay? You'll know when you found it. But most of them, I'm telling you now, most of them, if you give in on something like this, they will take and take and take and take and take. Because you've never set any boundaries. You've never said no. You've never had the hard line, fucking shut up, right? I like this hobby. If you don't like it, there's the fucking door. I can replace you. I can replace you. I can't replace all my friend group. I can replace you. Alright? So fuck off if you don't like it. Or become irreplaceable. And the way you become that is by letting me do my hobbies and celebrating the things that I find joy in. By being a wife. That's how you become irreplaceable. A lot of these girls think that being a girlfriend makes them irreplaceable. It fucking doesn't. And the tragedy is, most men think that way too. They're not. Your wife is irreplaceable. That's why she's your wife. Okay? And if a woman's dating you without the long-term goal of eventually getting married, you should probably look at that girl as an option, not a long-term solution. Alright? That's a fuck buddy, dude. That's somebody to warm your bed. That's what that is. Alright? If she just wants to be boyfriend and girlfriend, never get married, never have kids, never settle down, that's a fuck buddy. Don't care. Don't give a shit how many people come to me and say, actually, no, we've made the choice. No, mate. If she doesn't want to get married and doesn't want to be with you long term, right? If she doesn't want to be with you for the rest of her life, eventually, even if she doesn't believe in the institution of marriage, right? If she just wants a long-term partner, if she sees in you a long-term partner, I want to be with you, right? I'm dating you to try and see if we can be together for a long time, maybe the rest of our lives, marriage or not. That's fine. That's great, right? If you've got a woman who's dating you just because she wants to get out there, that's a bed warmer. That's not your wife. That's a bed warmer. And you can replace her. The problem this guy's facing is that he's got a bed warmer, right? Who's destroying his life. Why? Because he won't say no to her. You have to set boundaries. You have to have standards. High standards for you and others. All the time. All the time. Have high standards of behaviour. If I take you out with my friends and you can't fucking behave, we're not going out anymore. We're not together anymore. Right? I've ended multiple relationships because I've been out with a girl who's gotten jealous on a night out because I'm spending time with my fucking friends on that night out. Ingratiate yourself with my friends. Have fun with us. Or leave. Alright? If you do that, you won't be broken up with. That's the true irony. The true irony of if you get women, dude, I'm telling you now, the true irony of this is if you come at it with that strength and that honesty, honest strength, you're not trying to bullshit her. You're actually coming in and saying, this is where I am, and I'm not fucking budging, right? If you do that, she will never break up with you. Why? Because you've got options. She'll think you must have, even if you don't, she'll think you must have options because he treats me like a strong person who is good with women and has options. So you must have them. They see worth in you, right? The minute you acquiesce and cut your cue and say, oh, I'll drop all my friends and all my hobbies for you, darling, yes, no problem. The minute you do that, the relationship's done. She doesn't respect you, she doesn't like you. She stays with you because it's a habit, at best. You're a habit at best and an option at worst. That's why she's with you. You know? That's why she's demanding more, though. I know Yancey knows this. He's further on in his life now. But I want you guys to know, listening to this, she's demanding more and more and more. Now, this isn't just an empty, all women are... No, this isn't that. This isn't that, right? Okay? She's being fucking typical, is what she's being. Because he's not said no to her. She's got no respect for his hobbies. She's got little respect for him because she thinks he's better than him. The only way you get out of this is by turning that around on her and going, no, you can fucking leave anytime you want to, right? And my life, what will I miss? If you left... Listen, Camilla, if you left, what would I miss? Go on, I'll wait. What would I miss? Aside from the pussy. Aside from getting laid, what would I miss? Because I can get laid anywhere. So, what would I miss? This Camilla chick would struggle to tell you what you missed. What you'd miss. She would struggle. Okay? Replaceable. When a woman treats you like you're replaceable, treat her right back like she's replaceable. Because it only works one way. Alright? When a woman treats us like we're replaceable, our egos can't take it, we leave. Most of the time. Eventually, we leave. Eventually. Or we go mental, like Yancey's about to here, I think. Right? The minute you say to your woman, dude, whatever, dude. Like, I've got my life and I want you to be a part of it, but I'm not going to sabotage my own life because you're throwing a hissy fit. If you want to be in my life, welcome, you know? I'll love you being here, and maybe we can build something in the future together, and that'll be amazing. If you don't want to be here, fucking jog on. I don't give a shit. Jog on. I'm better than you. Jog on. I can go and get a woman on any... that's what the clubs are for. Alright? I can replace you. We're not husband and wife yet. I can replace you. Alright? And if I slim down and work on my game and wear nice clothes, I can probably get a better model as well. Don't tell her that. But know in your heart, I could probably get better than you. If I really went for it. You're making me happy. And the minute you stop making me happy, fuck off. See you later. Anyway. A few more weeks of Stockholm Syndrome passed, and on one of our dates, I asked her about a tattoo I had previously noticed on her right shoulder. It was a bizarre image of a half-alive / half-skeleton baby. She just gets worse, man. The second I asked Camilla, she began to cry and explained it was a tattoo of her child. She said that she had wanted to keep the baby, but after suffering from physical abuse and pressure from her boyfriend, she went through an abortion. I was stunned, and I had no idea how to respond. Yeah, this is a damaged chick, man. My heart goes out to her, this damaged chick. It doesn't mean what she's doing is good, though. I stand by what I said. I stand by what I said. This girl needs guidance. She needs a strong-ass man in her life who she can rely on. That's what she needs. Right? I don't mean to be subservient to. A lot of women listen to that and they hear what they want to hear, right? A lot of you know, male feminists tend to hear what they want to hear when I say that as well. Oh, you think they should just be in the kitchen? No. I think they need a rock. They need a strong man in their lives to anchor themselves. Right, this is what I need. And if you tell her, listen, if you don't like what I do, that's fine, leave. You give her that strength, she'll be attracted to that strength. And if she's not, good, she can leave. And you're back to square one. You can go and get yourself another one, right? Yeah. My shock... Sorry, I'm my shock? What? In my shock, something stuck out in my mind. I did note the choice of words. Boyfriend, not ex-boyfriend. Oh. I assumed it was a slip, so I stuttered out, you mean your ex-boyfriend, right? Camilla wiped tears from her eyes, straightened up her back, and coldly explained that she was in an open relationship with a guy named Esteban. Fucking hell. Well, here's why she's treating you like an option, dude. I'm a fucking savant. I am a relationship... I need to stop doing Warhammer and start doing relationship advice. Honestly. I fucking told you. Several pages earlier, I told you. You're an option to her. Oh my god. Dude. I'm going to keep doing Warhammer because I like Warhammer more than women. I'm joking. I'm half joking. But I'll never stop doing Warhammer content. Don't you worry about that. I asked her if she was seeing him right now, to which she didn't answer with words, but her eyes shouted the truth. And it dawned on me, I was a side bitch. I kissed ass, I grovelled, and dedicated all my time to her, just so she could be on call, ballpark be frank, and I was furious. I dropped her off. Screamed a big fuck you, and said I needed time to think. Camilla must have told Esteban about me that night because, like clockwork, he appeared the next day at our place of work. I wasn't working that day, but I later saw the security footage. Esteban entered the building without saying a word. Saw her, leapt over the counter, pinned her against the wall with both hands around her neck, and choked her unconscious in front of staff and customers. Okay, so she's in jail now, right? She's in jail now. Thankfully, the manager ran out of his office and tackled him off of her. Esteban scrambled to his feet and booked it out the door. And my boys called the local sheriff. Okay, he's now in jail. Good. I was at home on my day off when I received a call from a co-worker, Jason, who also happened to be one of my gaming buddies. He explained what just happened. Right after hanging up the phone, still trying to process the information, I got a knock at the door. It was Camilla. She was at my doorstep, already bruising around her neck and in tears. I took her in and tried to comfort her when I started receiving texts from an unknown number. Can you get a load of this? It was fucking Esteban. He announced himself through text, followed by texting me my home address and then a statement. I know she's there with you. Me and my boys are coming. This scared the crap out of me. I've never met this dude. I don't know who he's bringing or what he's going to do. And he knows my address, says he's on his way, and I just heard about his public assault. I had straight shivers running down my spine. I should have reported it to the sheriff's office right then and there, but the first thought that crossed my mind was to get a weapon, and one now. In complete fear for my life, and with one of my hobbies being spending time with family rednecks, I sprinted to my safe, grabbed my Mossberg 590, told Camilla to hide in the back room, and my dumbass texted back, "Try it, boyo, and I'll gun you down." Dude, these are all the decisions that a 20-year-old man would make. He's like, no, never fear. You're still protecting this bitch. Never fear. Go into the back room and I shall embrace my inner space marine. And he goes in there, gets his shotgun out, whatever it is, and he's ready to go. Call the fucking police. Right? Leave this bitch on the doorstep. Drag her outside. Close the door in her face. She's not your problem. You split up with her. Then call the police and say, I'm about to get invaded by a load of fucking weirdos with guns. You know, chasing my ex-girlfriend. Can you please come to my house? Oh my god. After a couple of hours being scared as a chicken, I told Camilla to go to the county sheriff's office and file a restraining order, and I offered to drive her there. She said she would, but she wanted to go alone. I should have offered to drive, at least behind her, but I didn't. A week passed and I was living in a ball of stress. I hadn't seen her, she hadn't returned any of my messages, and some dangerous nut knew where I lived. I didn't know what was going on. One day, at work, A co-worker told me Camilla was waiting for me in the upstairs office. So I ran upstairs to a dark room, and at the end of it, I saw Camilla. She turned slowly in her chair in only way I can describe as a Palpatine turning to face Luke in Return of the Jedi. I shouldn't be laughing, but that's really funny. That was really well done. Camilla said she was done with me. That's so... Oh! Oh, the delusion. Oh, the delusion. The delusion. Camilla said she was done with me. This is how... guys, this is how mental some of them are. Right? This is how fucking mental some of them are. After all the shit she's put him through, after him breaking up with her, she turns up to his fucking work and says, "Oh, I'm breaking up with you. I'm done with you." Are you on planet Earth? We've all dated somebody like this. I have. I've dated somebody like this. Alright? Most of my friends have dated multiple women like this. This is not rare at all. It's not. Alright? If you go on a date with women in 2024, you have a 1 in 3 chance of getting a bitch like this. I'm telling you. 1 in 3. And most of it's not their fault. They've been conditioned, dude. Like, society's conditioned them to be this way. As soon as you get a diamond, I'm telling you now, as soon as you get a diamond, and all your intuition's telling you she's a diamond, and she's a good girl, slap a fucking ring on it, and get her down the aisle. Now, get a prenup. Get a prenup. But slap a ring on it and get her down the aisle. Definitely. Dude, like, this is just not on. This woman's just... It's crazy. Crazy. Anyway. Camilla said that she was done with me. I'm still fucking smiling reading that. She told me that she couldn't be with a depraved man such as me. A hateful man who would threaten violence on her boyfriend. You know, the dude who publicly assaulted her ass a week prior. Dude, take the win. Just take the win. Just say, okay, what a terrible person I am. Off you go. Bye-bye. Okay, goodbye. For the first time in this relationship, a wire in my brain snapped. I didn't crawl back to her. I'm not giving you credit for that. You can fuck off. I didn't cry back to her. I didn't try to reason. I didn't say a word. I just turned and simply left. I felt free. She tried to reach out to me, and I ignored her. Yeah, do you know why she's reaching out to you? Because you've finally shown some balls. You've finally shown your strength and gone, yeah, you know what? Fuck you. See you later. Don't need you, don't want you, off you go. And now she wants you. And now she wants you. Right? Even non-toxic women are like this. Not in a bad way. I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, but even non-toxic women who are nice, right, will respect a guy for saying, look, no, I'm not doing that. I'm holding to my groundy. I'm not doing that. Sorry. Right? I have standards and I have things that go on in my relationships, and this is not happening. If a woman is weak, she will walk away, but strong women will look at that and go, ooh, that's nice. Right? I liked the tone he used there, right? You think being stern is a bad thing? With a woman, it isn't. As long as you're not abusing people, and you're being, no, these are the standards, and they're not dropping, sorry. Right? Dude, there's nothing better. There's nothing better. I'm sane women, nice women, good women, that the vast majority of them are, right? Okay? The vast majority of them are. Even the ones who are going to give you a hard time are nice people, by and large. They respect that strength. They respect you being able to say, do you know what? Fuck you, see you later. I think it's an evolutionary thing. I think back in the day, you know, women were conditioned to be like, oh, well, we need to keep our man because he's got to protect our kids and protect our cave, right? And if we lose him, we lose our protection. That's what it is. So if you're showing the strength where you can go, I can leave anytime I want, she immediately responds with, yeah, but please don't. You know, right? Especially if you give off the energy that other women also want you. Mate, she's never leaving. She's never leaving. You two are going to get on like a house on fire. Because she can respect you. She's going to respect your time. She's going to respect your efforts that you go to make her happy, right? This is why I say, when you get into a relationship, don't become a slob. That's when you should hit the gym. Right? When you're in a relationship, that's when you hit the gym. That's when you get shredded. Lose your weight. Make sure you're looking your best. Make sure you're still going out with your friends without her. Why? Because she needs to know that other women still find you attractive. And when you're with her and other women are looking at you, don't respond to it. Don't even respond to it when you're out on your own. Right? Don't cheat on people. Don't do that. But she needs to know that other people still look at you and go, that's a nice looking guy. That's a guy I'd want to be with. Because it's like a fucking aphrodisiac, man. It really is. Like, if you're not getting laid, just make yourself look good. Right? Take your partner out who's refusing to have sex with you and make her watch as other women give you attention. You are getting laid the second you get home. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. And by the way, yeah, the 1 in 3 comment before, I stand by that because people are conditioned. That doesn't mean that one person in 3 who's going to be a mentalist in your first date is going to stay that way. Do you know what I mean? Because most good people, I've been on dates like this, where you go out with a woman you can see there's a good woman underneath there, but there's a whole load of fucking 2024 neuroses on top of it that you need to strip away first to get to the woman underneath. And eventually, you're in a nice relationship and things go well, right? But anyway. She reached out to me and I ignored her. I fell into a deep depression, wondering if I had made the right choice or if I should go back to her. Instead of thinking about it, I would drink. I turned to heavy alcohol use and was letting this whole thing affect me in an extremely negative way. I honestly don't know what I would have done if it wasn't for my friend Jason, who wouldn't take no for an answer. Jason pulled me out of the muck and shifted the entire gear on my life. He practically knocked my front door down and dragged me into wargaming. It was the perfect distraction. I started feeling more and more like myself again, and every time I gamed, when I wasn't gaming, my depression would also creep back in. Utterly hating this feeling, I decided to become the social butterfly, and when I wasn't working or sleeping, I was hanging out with my friends and playing Warhammer. As time went by, the depression slowly went away. On one particular night, we all hung out at my house, and I had another friend, Jack, who was a miserable cheat and a power gamer when sober, but an amazing drunk. Jack and I played a game. He brought a competitive big tourney list and wanted to crush me. The dice were horrible for him though, and I could not roll a 5+. Jack would normally try to sneak the occasional cheat sober, hilariously cheated in the open when intoxicated. In one such moment, Jack needed his knight to kill a unit. He rolled his attacks and it was all 1s and 2s. Nothing hit. He stared at the dice, swatted them away and said, I don't know what that was, before rolling the dice again. I quite like that. Yeah, I mean, you know, yeah. I called him out on this, to which Jack responded with another swig of beer, a heavy sigh, and he picked up his full health knight, moving it to the casualty pile, saying, I never liked him anyways. I know drunk Warhammer's funny, but sometimes just, why bother? Why bother? The game will go down as one of the most goofy and enjoyable ones I've had. Later that night, whilst discussing drunk driving tests cops use, Jack screamed, I'm not drunk. If I was drunk, could I do this? Then proceeded to circle his hands and touch his nose over and over. Jack did this about 3 times before losing his balance and crashing into the edge of the couch and end table that held half of our models. We all rushed to make sure he was okay and didn't crack open his head, to which he responded by grabbing a nearby bottle of liquor and pouring it all over himself like the pirate skeleton in the Disneyland ride. Jack crashed at my house for the night. It was such a hilarious time, we didn't even care that our models were broken till the next day. I without doubt believe that this night contributed to saving my life. Even with the broken models, I felt absolutely cured. I somehow knew that everything was going to be okay, and that I was going to make it. I think that's because you felt really bad, do you know what I mean? Anyway, felt really bad as in, like, you know, a really big hangover. And you're thinking, this is the worst ever. You know, this is, like, so much worse than anything else I've ever been through in my life. And then you think back to Camilla and you go, oh, hang on. Wasn't that the worst thing that was going on in my life? Well, if I can get over this hangover, I'll be fine. A lot of dudes do that. A lot of dudes do that. I've done that. A little while later, I found out that Camilla didn't even go to the police, and the district attorney wouldn't prosecute for assault without her. The craziest part is, years after this nightmare, I saw Camilla with Esteban at the local market. After all that, she's still with him. For all the bad behaviour she had towards me, I can't help but feel sorry for her. I guess she's the real one who had Stockholm Syndrome all along. Yeah, she is. She is. This is why I was saying, I'm trying not to blame her too much. You know? Try not to blame her too much. All this goes to say, I met another woman, and I have been with my partner for years now. Married to her for 3. She is the perfect spouse for me, and by far the most beautiful woman I have ever dated, including a gorgeous face that has never had a run-in with a tire iron. My wife thinks Warhammer is little nerdy and dumb, but she has only ever been very supportive of Warhammer and sees it as a great creative and social outlet. I would never have met her if I kept going back to women like Camilla. I know a few listeners struggle with women. No matter how depressing or hard it gets, keep pushing through. For every nasty one out there, there is one who's a total gem. Also, it's okay. A woman can think Warhammer is stupid, but if she ever tells you to stop doing what you love for no legitimate reason, then she doesn't love you. She only loves herself. Remember that. As always, appreciate you, Northern Exile. Best, Yancey. I agree. I went round it in my very long-winded way, but I do agree with you. Oh my god, an hour long. An hour-long hobby nightmare. You lucky, lucky people. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there. I'll be back tomorrow with some more hobby nightmares. I love you all a long time, and I'll speak to you very, very, very soon. Have a good one. Bye now.